Indianapolis Colts to the next generation of their family. How does that affect the world of sports? We'll talk to Bob Williams about that. Dylan Raiola talked a lot yesterday, too, and had a quote about his expectations for this year. Spoiler alert, they're big. We'll buy or sell on several different topics from the brain of Dan Campanen tonight. We open up the mailbag. We've gotten your questions in. It's not too late to get your questions in. Let us know at after hour 1620 what you'd like to talk about tonight. And then me personally, Jimmy Allen has solved all of the Big Ten scheduling program problems.
Can't wait to hear this.
We're going to fix that at 7:30, and at 7:45 we will give you our trash takes of the evening. Jimmy Allen, John Schreiner, Logan Mosley, Dan Campanen with you here. Bob Williams is going to join us shortly as well in the 6:15 segment. But we got to get back to Matt Rule from yesterday. If you don't know, he's the head coach of the Nebraska football program. And was talking about last year, really the last 2 years. And he said, we lost close games because we weren't good enough. Our focus has been on improving because they don't all have to be close. And I thought this was funny. He goes, we could win a couple by 14 also. Like, we don't have to keep playing these close games. He said he saw a different mindset from his team in the bowl game. We had to make a couple plays. Panic came in, and we kind of took control of the outcome. This team has grown up because they realized they have to make plays. None of the special team errors were coached the way they were. It's a different feeling when you walk into a building with some guys and they know they're good. Now, there's a couple things to unpack there, right? Like, hey, it wasn't just there's a bad luck cloud over us, and oh shucks, it happens here. Like, no, we've got to be better in certain areas for this not to happen. And I know it's Mike Eckler versus Ed Foley, and everybody wants to go magic fairy dust. It's Mike Eckler, and everything's fixed. But I can't imagine a lot of the things, and especially the shortcomings that we've seen over the last 6 to 7 years around here, were anywhere near coachable. But the difference, I believe, is they were schemed better on the other side, or there was better communication handed down on the other side of the football that caused those plays to go awry. And I think Mike Eckler, from a communication standpoint, will get those things fixed. And they've done a pretty good job bringing some talented guys into.
Well, it's just such a different message than we've heard before, right?
Yeah.
What did the last guy say? We just need to catch a break. We need one thing to go our way.
We need a ball to bounce our way.
We need a ball to bounce our way. We're so close. It was never about like what we can do to improve and be better in those moments. It was almost like there's this. He was trusting everything to fate. Yeah. It was like, our fate just has to be different. And it's like, no. This is a game.
Yeah. You can control the outcome here.
With 11 players on each side that have to do something to change the outcome.
Because, I think there's – Dan, you and I were talking about this the other day. Like, the one game that maybe sums that up more than anyone was the first one. That lost to Colorado, where they have the game won, and Aaron Williams lets a pass go 64 feet above the wide receiver's head and throws a shoulder into him anyway, reset the clock, they go down, Colorado goes down, it wins the game. Like, that was the first game, and it kind of defined the rest of the Scott Frost era. But
it was a harbinger for sure.
Yeah, it was a sign of things to come. And when we talk about the Matt Rule era, like, I think back to that first game against Minnesota, where like the offense doesn't have a pulse and they need a trick play that Jeff Sims almost screwed up to score a touchdown. And I was like, oh no, we are in trouble, because if like we're already at break glass situation and let's pull a trick play out and this is game number 1, I've got a lot of questions about where this goes from here. And I think that, and not to make this Scott Frost versus Matt Rule, but to make this the reason to believe in the change is there have been parameters put in place to fix that. You go out and you get a pretty talented freshman quarterback. You go out and you get Dana Holgorsen to help these problems. Like admitting, hey, he said this even in a side interview yesterday, that I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I've gone out and I've gotten some people to the point that I walk in the building and I go talk to this person. He goes, I'm not even allowed in Eckler's special teams room. He'll kick me out. And I basically show up and don't have to do much because I've hired the right people to do that job. As opposed to the last 3 head coaches in Lincoln, just about every one of them felt like they were afraid to take their hand off the wheel at any point.
Yeah, and it's the old debate, right? Do you want the expert or do you want the CEO as your head coach? And both ways can work, but
I think oftentimes, more times than not, it's somebody that knows their strengths and their weaknesses and uses that as an ability. He talked to Damon Benning yesterday about this too, and said, "Look at me in the bowl game. I was 20 yards down the field away from the ball and put my hands in my pockets and just stood there and watched." He said, "I'm not great at a lot of things, but I know football, and if I could take myself out from the micro and look at the macro, we're losing because of this. We can change things here and there, and I can make those changes. If I'm not having to be in the moment and coach them right then and there, I can do things that can change the outcome of the game."
Right. And
which is something he needs to be better at this year.
And the CEO can't be down on the assembly line.
Yeah.
Right. He can't be putting bolts in your Ford Taurus. Like that's going to be a bad situation. You might get more cars built, but your overall strategy is not going to be good because there's no one directing it.
Yeah, you can be a great leader, but not be in the foxhole every single day.
Sure.
And even back we talk about we get stuck in this hole, and I think it's logical of all of the success that Matt Rhule had at Baylor and had at Temple, because there were 2 seasons each one of those schools that was kind of the final destination. The success was there. We don't talk about a lot of his shortcomings. His shortcomings at Carolina, at Temple, at Baylor were in-game management. His shortcomings in his first 2 years in Lincoln, a couple of misses in recruiting, and he's kind of talked about the reasons why that was, and maybe not where they needed to be from an organizational standpoint to really be successful anyway. But there have been some really mismanaged opportunities in-game by Matt Rhule specifically.
Well, yeah, the clock management stuff in year 1, I can remember. There were a few times where it was just like, well, what are you even thinking about in this situation?
I mean, there was a couple times in the Ohio State game last year specifically. I mean,
sure.
It's I don't think it's the big game moments. It just, they seem to surface themselves in those big games and get magnified, right?
And I think one of the things about Matt Rhule is his insistence on the standard, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love that, like, the standard is the standard. I love that mentality.
Yeah. Here's the expectations.
Sure. But at times, like, you also have to take a full accounting of the situation. And, like, specifically in that Ohio State game, there were a couple times where it's like, well, why are you throwing the ball right now?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the point where the head coach has to step in and say, like, I know that, like, this is what we do, and this is who we are, and this is how we call the game. But there's a scenario here that dictates that we do something different.
Yeah. Which he openly talked about in the bowl game. You know, he said that Dana Holgorsen essentially created the mesh concept. We got halfway through the bowl game, and I just came over the headset and said, Dana, we don't run mesh anymore. And he goes, and it really pissed Dana off, and he got upset about it. But it's like, hey, this could work, and it ended up being the difference in that game. You talked about the offensive line and about that Ohio State game, and I wonder how much of it was you looked at the offensive line, the guys up front went, can we move those dudes on the other side of the ball?
Sure.
Now, I think the conversation this year is there aren't going to be too many teams that Nebraska's going to line up against where you don't feel pretty good about their ability with Rocco Spindler and Pritchett and Evans in the middle to go ahead and just line up and move a couple of bodies.
Well, you hope so. You hope that's the case.
You do. But, I mean, I think all signs have pointed and indicated to, in that situation, there might be a little bit more of a question. But if you're talking about dudes that can
Which is the opposite of what it's been.
Exactly. And I think that was the conversation specifically in that Ohio State game where, do we put the ball in Dylan's hands and see if he can win us this game? Because we don't think we can lean on that offensive line against that defensive pass rush and win this game. So I hear you, and I agree with you to some sentiment, but I think you also have to put in context it wasn't Purdue where they feel like they could probably get a yard or two. They also needed to move the football against Ohio State, and they probably felt like with their 2 big body wide receivers who undoubtedly underperformed to the standards that they thought they should live up to, undoubtedly, but also they probably felt like, hey, last year we didn't have a dude that looked like that out there in 15. So do we feel like it's and hey, we also have him for 2 more years. Do we see if he can live up to this moment and deliver? Now, I'm not saying that Dylan can't based on that performance, but that was probably a lot of the thought process around it too.
The other thing that sticks out to me specifically about this sort of block of quotes that we're talking about was when he says, you know, a lot of the mistakes were people doing things that they were not coached to do, which is something he said in the Chasing 3 videos last year. He was saying the same kinds of things.
Well, he had to stop that whole practice, the open practice, and pull people together and say, listen, this is the problem. When the red light goes on, you guys want to fight. You want to do this. You want to get out of your set. You want to do something. You want to go back to bad techniques that you learned somewhere else. Like, he called people out about it. And according to him at Big Ten Media, that's not happening anymore.
Yeah. And I think one of the other, like, the brilliance of Matt Rhule is oftentimes when coaches say things adjacent to this, right? Like when they put the blame onto the player, we get upset about that. I won't say, like, not me and you personally, but fans. Fans tend to get upset when the coach won't take ownership for what happened. Matt Rhule does it in such a way that you're kind of like, no, he's right. You know what I mean?
There's merit behind it. This happens because we see this.
It's not that knife jab that you usually feel when you hear a coach blame the player.
I
think part of that
hold on, Luke. Okay. So I find it really hard to believe that Matt Rule is having that conversation with the media before he's having that conversation with the player, and I think that's got a lot to do with it.
That's kind of what I was going to build off of. When you got guys like Scott Frost right before Matt Rule, it's really truly a breath of fresh air where Matt Rule can say, that was my fault, and then build off and say, this was my fault. However, Dylan's got to do XYZ, Jacory's got to do XYZ, so that way we can get the play going to where it needs to be. And I think that's the big difference when you talk about guys not wanting to fight after getting out of their breaks, that red light going off, like you mentioned just a minute ago. That's the big thing right there. That's the culture change that we'll see in year 3 and beyond, hopefully.
Back to Frost for a quick second. In Matt Rule talking about the lack of financial stability, the lack of facilities and all that in Nebraska. Yes, the Osborne complex was getting built, whether Matt Rule was the head coach here or not, whether Scott Frost was the head coach here or not. My question, and what I wonder, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been brought up, is the difference that Matt Rule could circle those things and say, we don't have these building blocks in place. We don't have this dollar amount. We don't have this resource for NIL. We don't have this practice facility. We don't have this nutritionist. We don't have this money dedicated to the training table, as opposed to your point with Scott Frost. He went, said a prayer this morning, guys. Really hope we get $1 million to pay for this food today. Yeah. But I don't want to say that Scott does it, but I wonder how much there is to that.
This harkens back to where we started, the CEO versus the expert. And I think Matt Rule's much better at sitting at the top of the organization and looking at it from his top-down perspective, seeing the big picture and saying, if we get this done, it's going to help us over here. And when we get this thing over here done, it's going to help us get to this place. And when we get to this place, we can get this thing. Scott Frost was calling plays on game day.
Yeah.
Like there's a different mentality there.
And I think it's really important to point out that Matt Rule has been 3 other places where 2 of them were successful without any of resources. So he knew what to look for, what not to look for. And he also was somewhere where it wasn't successful and probably noticed some things that were missing from the previous spots, even though it was college versus the pros, as to where Scott Frost was one place and it worked. I mean, granted, the first year they went 7-6, but
after going 0-12.
Well, for us, it also had he had experience with the good and appropriate facilities. He was at Oregon when
they have good facilities.
I would assume so. They've got with all that Nike money.
I agree, but that's the point I was just going to make, though.
But again, at Oregon, he was down in the weeds. He wasn't looking at it from a top-down view.
And I wonder how many times. And granted, listen, Scott Frost was also at Northern Iowa.
But he should still know. So he should still know.
He should, but you don't know what you don't know. Is the point I'm trying to make? Does Matt Rule know that you need certain things because they were able to acquire those at Temple and Baylor, and maybe they didn't have them. They got them when he was there, as opposed to Scott Frost, where he walked in. And I'll hear the 0-12 thing. I think people forget the year before they went 0-12, they also went 10-2 and then had the most injured roster in the entire country. That's also really important to point out about Central Florida as well. But I wonder, it's just a matter of, Scott talked about the wrong job, right? Was it the wrong job, or did Scott Frost not have the experience enough to know what he needed to look for in that situation, as opposed to where a seasoned veteran and Matt Rule goes, well, at these 2 places, I was able to build with A, B, and C in those 2 years at both of those places. It didn't go well because we didn't have D. So here's what I need to be successful now. Because Nebraska's not a place where you could walk in and go 2 years without success.
I think the only conclusion you can come to, I think you can come to one of 2 conclusions, and both can be true. One, the Nebraska job was wrong for Scott Frost.
Yep.
Which he's come to that conclusion.
I don't think anybody's going to debate with that.
2, Scott Frost was wrong for the Nebraska job.
Yeah, and I think both are true.
Yeah.
Right.
And here, take the names out of it. You're talking about a program, to Matt Rule's volition, to Trev Albert's volition, that was one of 5 programs in the country that had no debt, that could build this up from the ground up. And you hand that over before it's established to a guy that has 2 years of head coaching experience. Names don't matter in that equation. Very rarely is that going to be a successful story.
Unless it's an uber genius.
An uber genius, a guy that maybe has success at the D2 level or something like that, or previous head coaching experience. Like, the fact that we all listen, I think I know 2 people total that didn't feel like that was going to work. The Scott Frost thing. But we all
Brett Ciancia is one of them.
Yeah, Tierra Green's the other, by the way. But we all looked at it and said, National Coach of the Year, one of our own. And we made it such an emphasis that we had to do it the Nebraska way. Here's the thing. It can be done other ways. There's 136 other one of these programs in the country. They don't do it the Nebraska way in Columbus. They don't do it the Nebraska way in Tuscaloosa. They don't do it the Nebraska way in Austin. They're pretty successful.
Dare we say
places.
the Nebraska way is outdated? Because I mean, I don't know. Standard. I don't know how. I don't have like the insight of what Scott Frost practices were like, but he was openly saying we've got all these guys puking. We're doing such a good job. Like that sounds like Tom Osborne 90s football, which does not work in this day and age of college football.
I don't think so at all. I think there's like honestly today, right now today, what is the Nebraska way?
So I think to Logan's point, it's a little bit of building the walk-on program up. You can go ahead and scratch it off. That's not even a thing anymore. Yeah. It's not even a possibility. So you can take that out of the equation. But if you're talking about running the football and playing defense,
that's the Nebraska.
Everybody wants to do that.
Look at all the teams that win. That's what they do. So no, I don't. I think there's something to. Maybe you can do it differently than Tom Osborne did, but keeping those same beliefs, because that's just good football coaching. If you can run the football and listen, if you run for more yards and you tackle more times than the other guys, you're probably going to win football games.
Well, also the other thing when I bring up the Nebraska way, and I use that in quotes, is players aren't going to take crap from their coaches like they used to. Like, I think that's another thing.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that. And I think that's the NIL transfer portal talking, and I understand that. But the best players, the elite of the elites, the dudes that want to go 1 through 32 on the first draft day, they want to be coached.
They're going to listen to their coach.
So go get those guys.
But that's not those are the guys that are going to win you the close games. But as a whole, you need every single player to buy in to an extent. I don't know why I'm spacing out what I'm trying to say, but what I'm trying to say is the way that Matt Rule has built things up, which is I'm going with the players for this. I'm going to be one with the players. I never got that impression with Mike Riley or Scott Frost.
Well, and I also think it's really important, and we talked about this last night, the verbiage that he used in his recruitment of Dylan Raiola. This is going to be tough. Do you want to come work hard and do this?
Yeah, you're going to be frustrated. It's going to be hard.
It's going to prepare you for what's next. And if you got a bunch of dudes that aren't worried about what's next, you're probably not going to be successful anyway. If you missed the opening segment tonight, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Allo Fiber. Listen, I've had Allo Fiber in my house for over a year now, and I will never switch to anything else. We've never had any latency in our streaming. Our video games never lag. We also just bundled with DirecTV. That's right. You can get Allo Fiber internet, all fiber internet, 1 gig right up to your house, DirecTV, and their new mobile services. You're going to save. You're also going to get a 2-year deal, locked in price with no surprise fees. Head over to allofiber.com/stack anytime between now and Labor Day. Switch and stack with Allo Fiber, DirecTV, and the new Allo mobile services and save today against allofiber.com/stack. Bob Williams is going to join us to talk about the Ursays passing down the Colts organization. What does that look like? We come back, 1620 Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's Sean here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's a hot one out there today. Did you find yourself out on the golf course? Well, if you did, you understand what it's like maybe to be wearing a subpar shirt. Don't do that anymore. Get yourself over to Jerry Ryan. Grab a Johnny O Polo. That thing is going to make you feel cooler when you're on the golf course because it wicks the sweat away and helps you stay cool on these hot summer days. Plus, it looks great. I have a couple of Johnny O's, a polo and a pullover. I love both of them. Top of the depth chart in my closet. They'll shoot right to the top of yours as well. Stop in at 78th and Dodge. Check out the line of Johnny O golf gear that Jerry Ryan has on display for you to touch and feel and try on, unlike those online retailers. You're going to get the personal touch, and they're going to treat you right. Tell them After Hours sent you. It's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Hot into early this evening with the temperature in the 90s, then showers and storms are likely late evening and overnight tonight with a low around 70. Mostly cloudy Thursday, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise a high of around 85. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
This summer, skip the backyard hassle and let Pepper Jacks do the grilling for you. We're talking hot off the grill flavor. Philly sandwiches, rice bowls, nachos, and more made fresh and fired up just how you like it. Whether you're fueling up after the game or grabbing a bite before you hit the pool, we've got your summer craving covered. Dine in, carry out, or hit up the Pepper Jacks app. No flames at home? No problem. We're grilling all summer long. Pepper Jacks, where flavor takes the field.
Pepper Jacks Grill.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
.625 on a Wednesday night edition of the After Hours Lounge. Forgot what day of the week it was. Brought to you by Bellevue University. Head over to bellevue.edu, register for classes, and become a Bruin. Tonight, day. Bob Williams, after his 2 weeks hiatus from the After Hours Lounge, makes his triumphant return. Welcome back, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's a hot day. That's the day, right?
It is. It ain't getting any cooler out there. Criminal, civil, personal. That's our mantra for Bob Williams, who joins us in studio. We're going to talk estate planning, which is not necessarily your forte, but in your wheelhouse.
But I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Listen, so he's the most equipped guy in the room. I know you're on vacation recently. Did you actually stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night?
I did not.
Oh, okay. No. Well, now it's false advertising.
Come on.
I might have been lying on that one.
He's at least Hilton Garden material, Jimmy.
Fair enough. When we talk about planning for the next steps, which the Irsay family, unfortunately, untimely had to do, they decided to keep the organization within the family and pass it on to the next generation. If you're having that conversation with somebody about planning for what is after maybe their work life or maybe after they're long gone, what's the best piece of advice you can give a business owner about what planning for what comes after they pass, about leaving it to their children, things like that?
Well, first of all, in parallel to the NFL discussion, the NFL does require each team that is a family-held team to have a succession plan that's submitted yearly to the NFL that's approved. And that was because I can't remember the team, maybe 6 or 8 years ago, a team.
It's the Browns, right?
Was it the Browns?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The three parties that inherited their ownership in the team, there was not a principal designated, and there was a big lawsuit that spiraled out of that cost millions of dollars.
Sure.
And so what I would say is plan ahead. I mean, it's not the most fun conversation. In fact, I met with my folks earlier this week, and they're in their 70s, and we have a succession plan mapped out for their future. It's not a fun conversation to have, but
Right.
it's a very important conversation to have, because last thing you want to do is leave your family in the lurch by not having a will, not having a plan, especially if you have children or minor children. Things can happen. You want to know who's going to take care of those children, how your property is divided for those children. You don't necessarily want children to inherit great sums of money. Once they become an adult, there's things you can do, trust you can create, things that you can do to plan ahead. As business owners as well, it's very appropriate for you to plan ahead with your business partners if it's not a single family owned business or single party business. I'm not talking about public companies.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a little different. But for most of your smaller businesses, yes, you should plan ahead. You should have insurance on other partners, et cetera. If majority of the business know-how is held with one person, those are just very important things to do. And people often tell me, well, it's not on my priority list, or it's too expensive. And I say, well, what's too expensive to you? And they say, well, how much is it?
Yeah.
Right? They don't really even know. So again, I myself don't do a whole lot of estate planning. I've done some for my own family. I do have several friends that are estate planners, and I consult with them for advice when it gets to be intricate. But again, if you're comparing decision making for multimillionaires or billionaires, the advice is the same.
Yeah. How
As
often
to the
have you
average person.
dealt with
Yeah.
people selling NFL franchises, Bob?
I have not in my
Well, if any one of the
in my own practice, but there are some pretty interesting rules. Now, let me ask you something. So, if this is trivia for you guys here. So, of the principals, so again, each team has to designate a principal.
Yeah.
Okay, and that person is the voter, decision maker for the team. Do you know what the average age of the 32 NFL principals are right now?
56.
68.
75.
Wow.
Which means, well, it might be since Irsay died, it might actually be 73, but it's in the 70s. So this has become a huge issue in the NFL the last few years due to the aging population of those principal owners. And again, so family members can own, to be considered a family-owned NFL team, have to own a 30% equity stake, essentially.
Right.
And they allow the principal, if they own 1%, it's okay as long as the rest of that family has the other 29%. In the Irsay's case, they own 100% of the Colts.
Yeah.
So the eldest daughter, I believe, she's taken over as principal. They've had this in play for a while. Irsay was a little sick, and he died in May or June? May, I think.
Yeah.
June 3rd.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
June. So they did have this in play. But I think there's only 8 teams right now where you've got a family controlling interest. And there have been some significant rule changes, even in the last few years, to allow for private equity. We've seen private equity make its way into other sports.
Yep.
And finally, this last year is when the NFL voted to allow up to a maximum of a 10% stake for private equity firms. And while other owners are individually making rules that it will be no greater than 5% for those that will actually participate and allow private equity in there. And the reason is, when you're talking the death of an owner, and that property, usually through some type of trust, is given to the descendant or descendants, right? Or their kids, their family, there's usually a 40% inheritance tax that's paid after the $13.99 million exemption. Now, for most of us, that exemption would be just fine, cover it. But when you're talking teams that are average in the $2 to $4 billion range in the NFL, I mean, the Cowboys could be $10 billion. I mean, I don't even know what they might be
lot,
worth, but
it's a lot.
Didn't Washington sell for 6?
They did sell for 6. So yeah, you're talking about a lot of money,
and they suck for 30
clearly.
years.
So there's got to be some planning made, but a lot of families have sold pieces and parts of teams to allow themselves the flexibility to be able to pay these inheritance taxes once they come due following the administration of the estate for the deceased.
So for us on this side of the red line,
the pores,
when we're talking about like these significant sums of money that are involved in that kind of inheritance, it's a different conversation than, when we're talking about just the average person's personal estate.
Yes.
Is there something you can say that is, other than obviously the dollar amounts and the potential for litigation, when there's that much money on the line, somebody's going to try to sue for it, right?
Sure.
Just for the average person versus, the ultra wealthy NFL owner, What are the kind of legal differences in those two realms, if you can speak to some of them?
Well, first of all, I think generally you're looking when you're handling an estate, administering an estate, excuse me, you're looking at asset distribution, right? That applies both sides of the line. You're making sure debts are paid. You're making sure that problems are resolved the best they can be resolved. And you're assigning executors, people to handle the estate, to take over, and you're assigning people to administer the estate or take care of children. Now, when you're talking our side of that red line, there's things you can do that are less costly, for example. So setting up trusts within wills called testamentary trusts, those are very easy to do and far less costly. They're within the last will and testament of that person. You'll want to have other legal vehicles to take care of you in case you're incapacitated. Would you want to do not resuscitate? Simple things like that. Now, again, those apply across both sides of that red line you're talking about, but I don't think there's a whole lot of difference because you need to check all those boxes no matter who you are. You just have far less assets to take care of, but you're going to want to make sure that you have people you trust in your corner that can help you, like whether it's family, like for example, my sister or my wife. If I were to pass away, my wife would take over, correct? Right? And I'm sure you guys are probably the same way.
Yeah.
Would it help administer your estate, make decisions for the estate? But if you don't have children or don't have a spouse, you can assign that task to friends and others. You can make other people trustees that can handle the property, take care of the property, and basically distribute assets to minor children, for example, which is a great idea to do. One thing I suggest to people, for example, what my wife and I do is if we were both to pass away and we've got minor children, we're in a scenario where we have a trustee appointed that will handle any monies that would be coming to our children, where they give that to them for educational purposes, food and shelter, that type of thing. They get a certain percentage when they turn 21, a certain percentage when they turn 35, and another percentage remainder when they turn 50. And I don't think that's a stupid way, in my opinion, to handle those type of things. But I think that's a smart way to plan. You don't want a young, as I said earlier, you don't want a young adult blowing through, money that they've inherited because of insurance policy or other assets that the family owns.
Let's talk about your wheelhouse for a second. It's hot outside. Beers are ice cold. Somebody may get behind the wheel of a car after having too much to drink and find themselves in a bad situation. If somebody's facing a DUI charge and they head over to Williams Law LLC and get a free, no obligation legal consultation tonight, what's the first piece of advice you'd give to somebody that may find themselves in that situation, or maybe even if they're a parent that finds their son or daughter getting a DUI underage?
Well, generally speaking, if it's a person that doesn't have much of a prior legal history, they're probably a little panicky, looking for answers, looking for me to tell them what's going to happen. First thing I do is reassure them that it's a process. We're going to have to walk through it. I'm going to be a good communicator, let them know the steps involved, because it's like getting in the worst line at the Epcot Center, right? You're going to have to wait. You're not going to go to court for probably a month and a half. The attorney can probably file paperwork for you. There's a period of unknown things that you're going to have, or time where things are going to be unknown to you and unfamiliar to you. But just knowing that you have somebody on your side, on your team, that's going to handle those things and work with you to explain those things to you. And your family. A lot of people want to have family members with them, which I do encourage, because you need a support system around you if you're going through something like that. And very often, if I've got a client with a DUI charge, they're going to be required to get some type of substance abuse or alcohol evaluation and follow the recommendations of that. I'm a very proactive attorney in recommending they get that as soon as they can and start following his recommendations, because twofold, really. One is it's really better for them as a person moving forward to identify any issues they have and address those so they're not in that situation again. I prefer not to get repeat business. I mean, it does happen, but I prefer not to get repeat business. And the other thing is that's going to help them in court mitigate what happens to them as well, because the judge is going to order that they obtain that evaluation regardless. So let's get it done up front, and then they can learn a little bit about themselves as we navigate through the actual legal process from the courts. And there is the administrative license revocation piece from the Department of Motor Vehicles, which is its own arm. Both of those different entities can affect your ability to drive or take away your ability to drive.
That's Bob Williams, criminal civil personal, easy for me to say. Head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com. Get more insight like that if you're facing a DUI charge at WilliamsLawLLC.com with a free, no obligation legal consultation tonight. Dylan Raiola. His expectations at Nebraska are a national championship. Is that realistic? We debate. The other side of the break. 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Rail Car. Stop by 144th and Blondo. Happy hours 2:30 to 6 o'clock. You just missed out on it today. You could stop by tomorrow. Appetizers are starting as low as $2. That's right, $2 for an appetizer. You can't beat that anywhere in Omaha. Plus, drafts and bottled beer and ciders and NA beers, all those $1 off every single beer in the bar tonight. All their signature cocktails starting at just $10. Classic cocktails, just $8. Every single glass of wine in the joint, $2 off. You can't beat the prices at Railcar. Stop by tonight, 144th and Blondo. Stop out and grab happy hour this week. Stop out and grab dinner tonight.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
(553-0373) today. Is the Force strong with you? Find out this July with Project Solo. Find your favorite Star Wars cans of your favorite Coke products through July 31st. Stop by your local Hy-Vee and pick up 12 packs of Coke for just $3.99 when you purchase 4 between July 2nd through the 6th. Also pick up half-liter 6-packs with your favorite Star Wars characters for $3.99. 16-ounce body armor or 28-ounce Pirate singles, just $1 all month long. Hy-Vee and Chesterman Coca-Cola, creating Jedi all over Nebraska.
Are you watching the water slowly seep down the drain again? Go with a local solution. Go with Trusted. AX Plumbing is here to help. With over 20 years of serving the metro area, AX Plumbing can do it all, from residential to commercial. They can even help with the new build installation service. Head over to axpservice.com today. There's financing available to qualified buyers and military discount too. Check out axpservice.com today. AX Plumbing. They'll leave your place cleaner than they found it.
Heat flames are crashing all over the Midwest. Beat the heat with Controlled Comfort. If your AC is aging and you have concerns, Controlled Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your HVAC issues. Let Controlled Comfort's comfort specialists come out, diagnose your issue, resolve it, or replace that old AC unit with one that'll keep you cool in the months ahead. Head over to ControlledComfort.com today. Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Get the truck you love and never pay a dock fee, only at Baxter Ford. That's right, pay for the vehicle, not the paperwork. Save on our incredible selection of new Ford trucks, F-150, F-150 Lightning, Super Duty, Maverick, and Ranger, and shop with confidence, knowing you'll never pay a dock fee. Experience our helpful way to buy a car, with no handoffs, no hassles, and absolutely no hidden fees. Shop now at BaxterFord.com.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
All right, it's 6:42. It's a Wednesday night. This is 1620 The Zone. Jimmy Allen, John Schreiner, Logan Mosley, Dan Campion with you tonight. We talked about the head coach It's only right that we talk about the quarterback next. Dylan Raiola spoke at Big Ten Media Day several times in different outlets and had a couple different things to say. But the one thing that he consistently said every time he talked at the focal point of this offseason was getting his body right.
He's not fat.
Now, I wonder, and we kind of mentioned this in the opening segment, that if there's a couple of things at foot here, and they can all be true, I wonder how much it was because his head coach came out and said, hey, we can't win with a fat quarterback. He didn't say that exactly, but he said you can't be 145 pounds or whatever.
He kind of said that.
250 pounds to be successful or whatever he said. I can't even remember what the weight was now.
245.
Sure.
240.
I believe you. Like but could Dylan Raiola also, we talked about Matt Rule and the things he says to the media, because they've also had a conversation about that. And Dylan said, hey, listen, I'm not comfortable with where I am. I feel like I could be more efficient at 230, 220, whatever he said. And could it also be the fact that maybe Matt Rule didn't have that conversation with him and he went, there's some baby fat on me still. I need to get this taken care of. My dad was an offensive lineman. But no, I think, again, kind of the running theme of the Matt Rule era, head coach says something, gets echoed by players. And I think it's really intriguing that Dylan Raiola has kind of let off all this off with, I could be the next face of Subway.
Listen, we talk a lot about getting everybody rowing in the same direction.
Yeah.
Like that's a consistent.
But we're not going to call it rowing the boat though, because that's
we will not call
lame.
We won't do that.
It's for nerds.
And
less attractive.
This coaching staff under Matt Rule, regardless of who have been the assistants, have done a really good job of being message disciplined.
Yep.
Right. Like there's nobody who comes out there and speaks out of pocket. Like I think the guys that come up there, it's not like they have, it doesn't seem like they have dictates of what they're supposed to say. But
there's just a repetitive message.
Well, because they all believe the same things. And that's different. It's different than saying, like, when you go to the press conference, say this, say this, say this, say this, don't say anything else. Versus, here's how we operate. We operate this way all the time. And when you go to the podium, tell them how we operate. Right? And if everybody says the same thing, that's the sign of a healthy program.
You know what has been the most mind-boggling thing to me about how bad Scott Frost was at this portion of the job? There's a dude down in Lincoln who he's their SID. It's Keith Mann, who is so good at that job that I feel like if he'd just went, hey, I need some pointers on how to do this better, it would have been a simple fix. Because and anybody that knows me knows I've never said a negative thing about Keith Mann, and I never will, because that dude is excellent at his job. We're very blessed in this state to have very good SIDs. But that has been, like, there are so many people that are good at public speaking in Lincoln, like John Cook was before. Like, there's just so many people you could have turned to and said, how do I do this better?
Right.
And could have fixed it. But Dylan was asked about the Ohio State situation and obviously going to Columbus last year, flipping his commitment and how it felt. And he kind of laughed and said, well, I was on the other sideline that I thought it was going to be originally. So obviously he's playing for Nebraska now. But he said, I don't want to touch on that. I'm here in Nebraska. I'm happy here. And to me, this kind of puts and the other thing that we really haven't talked about a lot that was kind of the talk of the town is, well, what happens if Dylan Raiola transfers? And is he going to just be here for 1 year because he went to 4 different high schools and blah, 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 blah,
Just
blah.
about to say, that's like the big thing that I feel like everybody was concerned about was he's up and left 4 times.
There's
who wants to say he's not going to do
a little bit more to it than
exactly.
That. But when was the last time that conversation was had? Because it's been a while. Now, we've talked about what if it doesn't work in year 3. That's a lot different than is it going to be a year 1 deal if it doesn't work on its face? It seems like he is incredibly committed to making this thing a full-on success by the time he leaves.
Well, and like less can be stated about the social media clip that came out. Like he's in the hallway, getting prepared for media days, waiting to watch his coach speak, and all of the Ohio State players and the delegation that they brought along with them walked by, and he was chummy with them. He said hello. It's not like these guys especially who Ohio State brought, they're all in his recruiting class. So he's pretty familiar with the majority of these guys just in general from a recruiting standpoint.
Sure.
And
probably helped recruit some of them at the time he was committed there.
Yeah. And it's not like a huge surprise that he would stay chummy with those guys. But I think the narrative of Dylan's just going to up and leave is, I'm going to say it. It's dead. It's dead at this point.
I don't disagree with that sentiment, by the way.
Yeah, I think that once you get over the fact, like as a player, as a premier player, once you get past the fact that, look, Nebraska hasn't had a ton of success and hasn't had a ton of high draft picks. If you can get past that, like, and understand where the program is now with the elite facilities, the elite training available, the coaching staff who seems to be like all pulling in the same direction, right? The arrow pointing up. If you can get past like the surface level and take a peek under the hood and see how the thing is actually running, I think you'll see exactly why Dylan Raiola says he's happy and it doesn't seem like he's going to leave, because this thing is rolling now. Like, yes, they won 6 games last year. They won in the regular season. They won a bowl game, but it feels different. It feels like they have turned a corner. And maybe I'm just projecting. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll all blow up and we'll all be back to doom and gloom. But right now, today, on July 23rd,
Nebraska goes 3-9, loses 9 games by one score, says John Schreiner.
It feels like there was a watershed moment last season, right? And that this is a new Nebraska football. We had the down period. We had the dark ages of Nebraska football.
Sure hope so.
And now it's like somebody flipped the lights on again, and this thing is about to go where it deserves to go.
Well, one other thing I want to point out, and I'm really glad you brought this up, John, is talking about the coaches kind of having their own, like everyone's built into one thing and sold on one thing. These coaches are respected at the NFL level as well. Like John Butler, think about those Bills secondaries when he was there. They were good. Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, those were really good defenders and corners and safeties. So naturally, all these guys are going to come to Nebraska because they watched those guys grow up, and he's the one that was like propelled them to that spot that they were at their prime.
It's that, and it's Matt Rule, Coach Hassan Reddick. I don't know if you've ever heard him mention that 4,000 times.
Or Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, but and listen, you currently have 4 guys that at some point in their career have been defensive coordinators. And I don't think you could put a value on that either. On the like specifically, I know we're talking about Dylan Raiola right now, but specifically on the other side of the ball, like that side of the ball from a communication and an execution standpoint should probably be pretty buttoned up, despite the fact that you have a first-year defensive coordinator.
Marquise Buford basically said exactly that.
Yeah.
When they sat him down for, like, I guess you would call it like the Big Ten Network side interview that they kind of did. Boy, if you want to talk about a man who is high on his defensive backfield and his running mates, it's that guy.
You can make the argument that's the most talented room.
Yeah, back to Dylan for just a second. Like, if you still are on the fence about whether he's all in, if he's committed, if he's thinking about transferring, just ask yourself this question, right?
Why are you such a troll?
Look at the amount of peer recruiting. Look at the amount of times Dylan Raiola has stayed on campus to host recruits and the things he has done at the camps, the events that they have for high school kids to come in.
Announcing snow days at a local high school.
He hosted his own camp at Lincoln Pius.
But
you can listen
there's
to
other incentives.
You can listen to the words, and then you can look at the actions, right? And the actions are the things that you should pay attention to. These are not the actions of someone who's got one foot out the door. Why would he be putting in all that effort to get these players to come and play with him on this team if he wasn't invested in making it great? Like, he is here. This is where he wants to be. He wants to make this program great.
Is he willing to do everything for that, in your opinion?
What is everything?
Yeah.
Everything. Everything and anything.
I have no reason to believe he wouldn't.
Is he willing to sacrifice the Dylan Raiola brand for it?
I think he already did.
Hold on, because there's a discussion that really hasn't been had yet. And a tradition over the last 2 years of the leadership on this team being single-digit guys. Now, you had a senior last year trading a single-digit to go back to 10, and a freshman got that 1. Dylan Raiola wore 1 in high school. Dylan Raiola has worn 15 at Nebraska, and he's been associated with a 15 in the NFL, and 15 has kind of become his number, right?
Mahomes.
There's this guy that plays in Kansas City. He's been compared to a couple times.
I was like, excuse me?
Dane Key showed up at Dylan Raiola's football camp wearing a 15 alternate throwback 1995 jersey as well.
That's from the NIL store, by the way.
So if you want to know what's happening for homecoming night, there you go.
Yes.
But does Nebraska / Matt Rule dig its heels in and say, and listen, maybe it depends on what the rest of the team wants to do. It's not just specifically a Dylan Raiola thing. But if if everybody goes, we want the leadership to be single-digit guys, and Dylan Raiola runs out in Arrowhead against Cincinnati wearing number 15, what does that say about Dylan Raiola?
I don't know. I don't think you can read too much into it because it's not like it's mandatory.
It's not.
These players get offered the opportunity to wear single-digit numbers. They're not. It's not like the coaches are dictating. Like, you're the leader of the defensive line. You wear number 7. You're the leader of the linebackers. You wear number 9. You're the quarterback. You wear number 2. Like, I don't think that's happening.
It's not fall camp yet, but isn't it interesting that
they're gathering?
We haven't had that conversation.
They're gathering 10 players and saying, "Okay, you guys want single digits? You can have them. Decide amongst yourself who gets what, but we'll give you the opportunity to wear single digits." I don't think that means they have to.
I think kind of to build off of that, this new like swagger trend, everybody wants to wear the single digits to look cool.
That's been a thing forever.
Yeah, it's been a thing for a while. But I think that's the point that Matt Rule is trying to make is like,
say about this guy named Michael Vick. Everybody needed a number 7 after that.
Well, for multiple reasons. You got
wearing number 11 as a wide receiver.
Anyway,
Prinsky Gillian.
I forgot my train of thought now.
That's kind of where we're going here. But I think it matters too, right? Because there's like maybe the Jamari Butler thing last year was just kind of like maybe we're not doing that anymore. Also, there could be that aspect of it. But how do you feel about your quarterback wearing number 0? That be a thing?
I would say he'd probably pick 5.
See, I think he'd be 1. I think he'd go if he was going to be a single digit guy. I think he'd go back.
I don't think he can do either one of those because those Patrick Mahomes references are still going to pop up no matter what. Because Patrick Mahomes wore 5 while he's at Texas Tech. Instantly, everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, he's being Patrick Mahomes wearing number 5." You know,
is that what they sound like?
Yes, that's exactly
what
Patrick
Mahomes sounds like.
But I feel like he has to stay at 15 because he's already committed. He said, "I wear 15 not because of Patrick Mahomes, but because of Tim Tebow." Like, that's his inspiration. He's not going to change that up, and he's not going to go to 1. I feel like 1 could be more plausible.
Devin Gardner wore 98.
Fair enough.
That was awesome. I forgot about that. 98 and 16.
I think he doesn't need to wear the single-digit number whatsoever, but I have a feeling that the storyline once fall camp rolls around and they do here are the single-digit number guys, it's going to be a question that someone in the media is going to ask Rule in his open press availability.
Kind of surprised they haven't yet, right?
Hey, was Dylan one of the guys who got, because it's a team vote, right? Or is it the coaches who vote?
I think it's the coaches.
Yeah, I think it's a hybrid. I think it's both.
Okay. So however that...
I wouldn't put my name to either one. I don't know.
Yeah. However that vote or consensus shakes out, I'm sure it's going to be, "Hey, Coach Rule, was Dylan one of the guys who was going to be one of the single number guys this year?" And the answer will probably be yes. And he'll probably say, "Dylan wants to be number 15 and we're going to allow him to be number 15.
Why did you say 5?
I don't know. Just
right in the middle.
It's either 1 or 5 probably.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. 5 seems like a more quarterback-ish number.
Well, so
you're saying that because of Jaden Daniels, probably.
Well, so the interesting thing is you brought up Mahomes wore 5 at Texas Tech. You brought up Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow wore 5 in high school. So there's a possibility. There might be something there.
One other thing I do want to say, and I don't know why this hasn't been talked about enough, is why is 15 still a number you can wear on offense in the first place? I feel like that should be solely reserved for Tommy Frazier.
Stop retiring numbers.
Because that's
stop it.
Because it's a stupid tradition. That's why.
That's the thing.
If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. Figure out which tradition John Schreiner hates and wants to stop in college athletics. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. If you're starting to feel a little bit of humidity in your house, your AC is probably not clicking on when it's supposed to. There could be a problem with your thermostat. Maybe the AC unit is going out. You haven't noticed that because you didn't get a maintenance appointment set up with Controlled Comfort. Do so tonight. Head over to ControlledComfort.com. Let Tony and the team come out and take a look at your AC, but also give you peace of mind about your furnace lasting through the winter months as well. Check out ControlledComfort.com tonight. We'll be right back finding out what's trending on social media. 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for AX Plumbing. Home or residential, they can do it all. You stand in your basement right now and listen to the After Hours Lounge, noticing that water's kind of starting to back up and it smells a little bit. It's not going down like it used to. Well, you probably have tree roots in your main line. If that's the case, you need AX Plumbing to come out and water jet your line. They'll run a camera down the pipe, take a look at what's clogging it up, and give you the answers you've been looking for all of your plumbing issues. They'll also water jet the line, clear out to the street so you don't ever have to worry about backup again for as long as you own the home. Head over to axpservice.com. Get the water jetting appointment set up tonight.
Goose's Barn Grill is the best-kept secret in Papillion. A dynamite menu, live events, and great drink specials. 129 North Washington Street is the place to be all summer long. $3 tacos on Monday, the biggest tenderloins you can find on Tuesday, and celebrate Wing Wednesday with after hours with $1 wings on Wednesday. Goose's Barn Grill, 129 North Washington in Papillion. Open till 10 Monday through Friday and 2 a.m. on the weekends. Goose's Barn Grill, where there's always something going on.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
This summer, skip the backyard hassle and let Pepper Jacks do the grilling for you. We're talking hot off the grill flavor. They'll leave sandwiches, rice bowls, nachos, and more made fresh and fired up just how you like it. Whether you're fueling up after the game or grabbing a bite before you hit the pool, we got your summer craving covered. Dine in, carry up, or hit up the Pepper Jacks app. No flames at home? No problem. We're grilling all summer long. Pepper Jacks, where flavor takes the field.
Pepper Jacks Grill. The real game changer in college athletics, it's coaches. And at Bellevue University, there is an experienced team of coaches who know you both as an athlete and as a person. Plus, there are student coach advisors who are there to provide individualized academic support every step of the way as you progress towards your degree. At Bellevue University, you're not just another athlete. You belong. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main, you'll be the sharpest dressed guy in your foursome. Stop in and let John, Dan, Jake, Deanne, and Monir the Tailor get you ready for the golf outing circuit or your big wedding this summer.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Life is unpredictable, with seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner. You can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Put the ball in the first hour of the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Head over to bellevue.edu. Register for classes, become a Bruin, have the ideal college experience this fall. It's time for the social media soundbite where Logan Mosley has promised us a doozy of a soundbite. What do we got tonight, Logan?
That I have. And in regards, as we keep talking about Big Ten Media Day, let's continue it. The age-old question in sports. Down 15 with 4 minutes left to play, you score a touchdown. What do? The difference between Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola's answer. I want to go ahead and turn this up.
I want to unmute the tab.
Yeah, that will do it. He does not get to make those decisions.
I kind of agree with the quarterback.
No, Matt Rule's right. Matt Rule's right.
If you need 15,
yeah,
you need that 7 at any point.
Right, but if you go for 2, if you don't go for 2 first, then you're just waiting until the end.
Right, but if you go for 2 and you don't get it, then you lose no matter what.
No, you still no. If you go for 2 and you miss, you have an opportunity to onside kick and get the ball back again. If you wait to
right, but what is more
hold the 2-point conversion until the very end of the game and you don't get it, you lose. You don't have any more opportunities. You have more opportunities if you're building a contingency for failure.
How likely? Like, I think from a mentality standpoint, though, I think guys are going to be a little more dialed in and feel like the momentum is going their way if they go for 2 versus if they go for 2 and miss it. And now I've got to go out there and pull off the most difficult task in basically sports in recovering an onside kick, especially with the way the special teams rules have been changed.
Yeah, but
from a mental standpoint, it's all situational.
From
right?
a game management standpoint, though, Matt Rule's absolutely right.
I don't know. I think I'd go for 2.
I kind of
I
agree.
You go for 2 on the first score or wait till
this
the end
is
of
the first
game?
score.
Game.
This is the first.
The first score. I'm kicking the field goal.
You should go for 2.
I think you need to go for 2 as well. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you're down by 15, let's say 28-3 type situation, you've mounted this comeback. You're within 15. There's 4 minutes left. You're gonna kill all the other team's momentum if you get that 2-pointer, regardless if you want to go try and get that onside kick or not. They're going to be dead, essentially, on the sidelines. They're like, what are we doing? We had this 15-point lead, and now it's a 1-score game. And I think that's going to help you, more than anything, try and pull off the win.
If you're up by 3 in basketball with under 10 seconds to go, do you foul?
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah, listen, if you missed the whole first hour of the After Hours Lounge, check it out on 1620thezone.com. Under our radio replay page, under the After Hours tab. It was brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If you need an entire team to help ignite your social media presence and entice your ideal client online, Pixel Fire Marketing is the spot for you. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com. Let their social media experts ignite your presence online and entice your ideal client tonight. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details tonight. Dan Campion has been waiting 48 hours to ask these questions. He does it on the other side of the break. 1620 Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's John here for Paul Davis Restoration, the property restoration experts. They can help you out if you got water damage, fire damage, if you're worried about some mold creeping in behind the walls in your basement, if you've had storm damage, any of that stuff, the number to call for Paul Davis, put this one in your phone, folks. It is 402-553-0373, because when disaster strikes, Paul Davis will be on the scene to help you out in a flash. They're going to work with your insurance company to get your home back to the way it was before any damage occurred. The number again, 402-553-0373 for Paul Davis Restoration.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Heat waves are crashing all over the Midwest. Beat the heat with Controlled Comfort. If your AC is aging and you have concerns, Controlled Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your HVAC issues. Let Controlled Comfort's comfort specialists come out, diagnose your issue, resolve it, or replace that old AC unit with one that'll keep you cool in the months ahead. Head over to ControlledComfort.com today.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
Are you watching the water slowly seep down the drain again? Go with a local solution. Go with Trusted. AX Plumbing is here to help. With over 20 years of serving the metro area, AX Plumbing can do it all, from residential to commercial. They can even help with the new build installation service. Head over to axpservice.com today. There's financing available to qualified buyers and military discount too. Check out axpservice.com today. AX Plumbing. They'll leave your place cleaner than they found it.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
When someone asks how you're doing, do you always say fine, even when you aren't? Yeah, me too. There is a stigma surrounding mental health, and that stigma keeps people from reaching out for help when they need it. You can reduce the stigma by sharing your mental health story at whatmakesus.com. You can also hear stories from others in the Omaha metro area. Join in on the conversation today at whatmakesus.com. Brought to you by the Wellbeing Partners.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Top of the second hour here at 1620 The Zone. Brought
Dan's
to you
doing kicks.
by
Watch out,
Pyramid
everybody.
Contractors. They won't do kung fu, but they'll fix your roof, your windows, your gutters, your siding. They can do it all. Check out pyramidroof.com. Get a free estimate tonight. All right, how are we doing this? You wrote the questions, but Logan's in your seat.
I am
Are you asking him
completely
anyone?
fine with Dan and proposing these questions to us.
How about we go back and forth? You ask the first one. We'll make Logan read your
Ping
words.
pong.
Okay.
Serve, receive.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
How about you just look at Logan and
That
say,
works.
I want to ask this one if you want to ask it.
Fine. On Fridays, we've been doing a new segment called What Are We Watching? And I'm going to have a new addition to my list soon. Hard Knocks is going to be featuring the Buffalo Bills in preseason and the NFC East in season. Buy or sell. These are the correct candidates.
I sell. They should have done everything in their power to get this in North Carolina. I wanted to see Bill Belichick.
You're
and
still on this
just-
train.
It should have just happened. Also,
Call you Boxcar Jimmy because
I
you're just riding this train all
I
the way into the
hate-
station.
I hate this NFC East whip around thing. Give us one team. The whole point is to follow one team. It's always been one team. Sell. Just give us the Buffalo Bills the whole time.
Yes, buy. The Buffalo Bills are the most intriguing team in the league this season. I don't think there's any debate about it. And the NFC East features the returning Super Bowl champions and my Washington Commanders, who are maybe the third most intriguing team in the league this season.
I think that's the most intriguing division. I think the West is the most difficult. I think the most intriguing is the East, though. I meant the AFC West, Logan. So fist pumping. I don't think there's anything intriguing about the NFC West at all.
Yeah, that's right. The Rams are winning.
Just look at all the storylines in the NFC East.
Yeah,
Returning
fair.
Super Bowl champs, The resurgence of the Commanders. The Cowboys are awful, and the Giants have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same sideline.
And Jackson Dart threw a pick six in his very first pass in 11-on-11.
They spent a first round pick on a quarterback that they traded up for. That's half of it right
there.
there.
There is not a cornier quarterback room in the league than the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, you can take Jackson Dart out of the equation. I mean, he helps with the argument, but
no, I actually buy on this as well. I think this is the perfect mesh and group of teams to do for this. I love the rotating part, especially for the NFC East. I think that's the best.
It might actually entice me to start watching Hard Knocks.
Exactly.
Can I tweak the question a little bit?
Sure.
What's the team you'd least like to be on Hard Knocks? From this would be boring and can't watch this standpoint.
Like the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
No, the Falcons have Penix though, so like
that's why I'd be intrigued. Yeah.
The Saints maybe.
That's where I was going.
Just because they're going to be so
that quarterback
bad
battle is going to be kind of fun.
Oh man, I'm scared. Spencer Rattler versus Jake Haener versus I'm forgetting his name. Tyler Shuck. Oh man, I'm so scared about that one.
Be interesting. It doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah.
I would not like to watch the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
I also would just
weird, Dan. Weird.
From a boring standpoint, not I hate everything and everybody that's on my TV standpoint.
I think just
out
because
of
saturation, Kansas City.
Ooh, that's a great.
That's
answer.
a good one.
I don't think I'd be that interested in the Raiders either.
What
the
is
storyline is there.
They have a new head
Oh,
coach,
I would-
new
But
quarterback.
Actually,
running
that
back.
was my pick for where I wanted Hard Knocks to be. You get Geno Smith and Pete Carroll back together. Throw Ashton
yeah,
I
you
think
get
that's
Vegas too.
terribly interesting
Yeah.
stories there.
You just throw Crosby into the situation.
I don't find any interest in watching the Seahawks in preseason.
Maybe is it?
What
Is
if
it
was
the Dolphins?
No, because people Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, but they're so boring.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, but their
actually
head coach is a quote machine, dude. Like,
That's true.
That would be
That's true. I forget
entertainment.
about that.
You know what would be really bad is the Jaguars.
That's where I was. That was
Yeah.
my-
See, but
I
they
was
have-
gonna
I was
say
gonna
the-
say
I was
that.
gonna
But
say
they
the
have
Saints.
Travis
Like,
Hunter.
I was gonna say
They
the
have
Saints for the
Travis
Jags.
Hunter. They have so many like high-rated players. You can at least look at and be like, okay, that's somewhat
name
interesting.
more than just Travis Hunter and their quarterback.
Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence,
Name another Jaguar. Quick, Logan. Quick,
why,
quick.
What is his name? Trayvon Walker. Do they still have Gabe Davis? No,
He's
they
not
don't.
even naming
No.
the best player on the Jaguars. So, number 48, Chad Muma, linebacker, Wyoming.
Dan's personal friend.
He is the best. Logan, number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Moving on to topics we actually care about. Trey Hendrickson.
I don't know. We cared quite a bit about that one, I think.
Let's name our favorite Jaguars. Ready, go. Byron Leftwich.
Trey
Mark
Hendrickson
Brunell.
Trey Hendrickson will not be reporting to training camp as his contract is still unsigned. Buy or sell. It's time for Cincy to open up the checkbook and make better decisions.
Real quickly, Travis Hunter is listed as a wide receiver on the Bengals official depth chart, not a cornerback. That's worth noting.
On the Bengals.
Travis Hunter on
Yes.
the Jaguars. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, would that be interesting? Travis Hunter is on the Bengals roster now.
Still don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson.
They
though.
traded for
Sorry,
Trey Hendrickson and Shamar.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry, buyer saw that Cincy needs to open up the check. Listen, I kind of like. I hate to be on the billionaire NFL franchises side of this. That defense is going to suck with or without Trey Hendrickson. So
Going to suck worse without him.
maybe just get off the pot and trade him, and maybe you can get more out of him than you can by just giving him a bunch of money and just not being good anyway. Like, that defense is bad. It's not getting any better. So why would you pay a guy a bunch of money to suck anyway? Maybe you can get a couple of pieces that you can kind of add by subtraction here. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that he's not one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. So you either got to pay him or find a way to move on to get those pieces that you need in place before the season starts.
I'm really surprised you didn't mention his age.
He's 29.
He's 30 now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he just had a
Oh, he's
birthday.
getting up there.
So, yeah, I am not.
I famously hate 30-year-olds.
You do. I'm not in favor of letting your best defensive player in the prime of their career walk. Like, the Bengals have to do something to sign him. Even if you think they're not going to get much better with or without him, they're going to get worse without him.
I agree.
And they can't afford to get worse. They have to re-sign Trey Hendrickson.
What is worse than completely sucks, though? Because that's what their defense was. Like, it was bad.
Well, they have a new defensive coordinator now. So I think the hope is that Al Golden can fix things in Cincy.
Matt Rule gets fired. He's going to be on the list of next Nebraska coaches because he always is. What if we hired Al Golden?
Well,
remember? Every year. Every time there's a coach who searches Lincoln, Al Golden's name's on it.
The Bengals need to pay Trey Hendrickson right now. Side note, at the very end of quarterback, you get to watch Joe Burrow's soul literally leave his body because of what the defense had done to him all season long. And that's one man who will want Trey Hendrickson on that team this upcoming season.
Speaking of souls leaving bodies, you know what I watched the other day probably 55 million times? The South Carolina-Michigan bowl game where the hit with the helmet just pops up.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney just
The
literally
best
palms the
ball
football.
don't lie
and
moment.
just got me to thinking.
Remember who missed that block?
Who was it?
Taylor Lewan.
Oh, that's right.
I thought it was Jake Butt.
It's probably a combination of both of them.
Will Compton brings it up a lot.
It got me to thinking. If you could rewatch one play from any team that's not your favorite team over and over again for an hour and never get sick of it, what would it be?
I think you need to phrase this question. Is it the TV broadcast or are you in the stands for the game?
The TV broadcast.
TV broadcast, okay.
That's a great point, though, because obviously the answer is the kick six.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It is very easy for me.
Okay.
I could watch that Julian Edelman catch when they were
be your
coming
favorite team, though.
Julian Edelman, he said.
Julian Edelman plays for the Patriots.
You're a Patriots fan. Sorry. I don't know why when you said – go ahead. Never mind.
I mean,
Julian Edelman catch.
There are about 1,000 Jordy Nelson catches, but I'm going with the other white guy. No, that Julian Edelman catch where it doesn't seem like he got it. And then
I don't
you
know
just
why.
see
I went
his
to Jordan.
hand
I was thinking Jordan Westerkamp, by the way. When you
slowly
said
slip underneath the
why
ball.
white receivers are same, Jimmy?
All white guys look the same.
Yeah. Julian Edelman famously not Jordan Westerkamp. Re-describe the play one more time. I'm recovering from my lapse. This Red Bull's not kicking in yet.
Patriots Atlanta Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Down 3-28 when Julian Edelman makes that immaculate catch where it is just like he bobbles it
Off
and
the
at the
blades
last
of the grass.
second his hand just slips underneath the football and it doesn't touch the ground
In real
one
time,
iota.
in real time, I was like, "There's no way that's a catch." Like I screamed it. I was like, "There's no way that's a catch."
I
still could not. The replay was incredibly clear. It was a catch.
I was watching that live at the restaurant that I worked at in college, and we were screaming in the bar.
Is that the best instant replay moment? Like that's the one where they clearly got it right.
Donald Driver.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. That's 1-2. Those are probably the 1-2 answers.
Is it only football or
Yes, only football.
Because mine is the LeVar leap.
Because that's the only play that's the only sport that matters.
When LeVar Arrington was playing for Penn State and he jumped over the entire Illinois offensive line to make a tackle in the backfield, it's just like such an insane display of athleticism and timing. Like that is one of my favorite football plays of all time.
For me, I think it's the Vince Young scramble into the touchdown in the
that's a good
national
one.
championship in the Rose Bowl. Just because, like, what's the one thing USC just couldn't let happen in that moment? But Vince Young was just that dude at that moment where it didn't matter, and he just took the game over.
I've probably watched Barry Sanders highlights an embarrassing number of times too.
Who's the most obscure player that I think I've watched their high school highlights? Like, I think I probably watched Noel Devine's high school highlight film.
Oh, everybody has
9 million times. Him and Jackson Jeffcoats.
My answer, I need to find the player real quick, but this is the Georgia-Ohio State playoff game in 2022 where he
missed the field goal.
He misses the field goal. I would love to watch Ohio State lose on a missed field goal as time expires for an hour. I don't know about you guys though.
It's not even that he missed it.
No Ruggles.
It's how bad he he really he didn't even come close to making that field goal.
Blair Walsh.
Can I give a second place one?
Yeah.
Let's
just be dudes naming plays.
Just for the hate in my heart.
You know what? Screw it. Let's go around one more time. Everybody give one more.
When Al Michaels get the, oh my word, it's a double doink.
Yes.
I could watch that on repeat so many times. I actually have it saved on my phone so I can play it at parties when I'm in Chicago.
From the aspect of in your house or in the stadium, I think that's maybe the most important part is little bit of the lyrics to the music as well from the commentators. You got another one?
It's the Barry Sanders run versus the Cowboys in the playoffs in 1991, where the Cowboys defenders are just like they're left looking around like, where did he go?
Yeah, why is he not here still?
That's my all-time favorite player. It's the reason I wanted to play running back, growing up. Like that run itself is just it's marvelous.
Dan, just because you're gonna kick people in the groin, I'm gonna kick you in the groin. It's my favorite team, so I'm gonna give a different one. But the Jerry Rice catch in the wild card game that clearly wasn't a catch. That if replay was still around, we're probably talking about the 49ers having one less Super Bowl ring. It was so good. That's what I was like. Oh, it's cool to be the bad guy. All right.
I have two for my second place answer. One is the Dan Conley down the right sideline against the Packers. Where he got down inside the 5. Just because I love a lineman play.
Yeah.
But also Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl that led to the collapse of the 49ers. Thank you, Emmanuel Sanders.
He was so wide open. And then they just let Tyreek Hill stand in the middle of 5 dudes. Wasp. It's like the exact opposite, except for one play was completed and the other team won.
Next.
It's my turn. I didn't know.
Go ahead.
It's official now, but Phillip Rivers has officially retired as a Charger. Buy or sell? Is this a first ballot Hall of Fame guy? I want to add a side note real quick. I wish he retired as a Giant, and I'll end as that.
Why do you want Phillip Rivers to retire, John? Oh, because of Eli Manning.
He was drafted by the Giants.
Yeah,
exactly
I get it there. Yeah, listen, first ballot. I mean, he's in the Hall of really, really good. But is he a Hall of Fame? I don't know. I don't think
he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's a first ballot guy, though.
First ballot. See, I don't like the first ballot debate in general. I think it's like we're splitting hairs. Like, do they deserve to be in the Hall or not? Like, what's the difference, honestly? Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? He threw for 63,000 yards in his career.
It's a lot, folks. How many playoff wins does he have?
I can't tell you.
I think the better question is who is better at their career, Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers? Because Eli Manning was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, so I don't feel like you can say if you believe that Eli Manning had a better career than Phillip Rivers, then you cannot say.
And I don't even think it's debatable. I just realized that I never gave my second answer. I totally said it in my head. By the way, it's the Leon Lett fumble in the snow. That was one of the funniest moments in football history.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I would say yes. I think he was so good for so long, and yet
just had Marty Schottenheimer as coach.
The playoff wins didn't come, but like it was not because of Phillip Rivers.
That franchise just sucks.
It does. It's so unfortunate.
Good luck, Jim Harbaugh.
Yes,
that's the right Harbaugh brother that coaches in.
Yeah, that's the right one.
By the way,
I think.
Good job. Moving on. The combo of nipple and cock. Knipple and Kalk?
Knipple.
Knipple. It sounds
what
like
just happened?
Is already paying dividends for the Charlotte Hornets. They win their first championship at any level as a franchise. Buy or sell a 15.9 rebound, 1 steal, and 1 block performance is enough to get Kalkbrenner the starting job.
It's not enough. I sell. What's enough to get him the job is they've sold off everybody else at that position to other teams. So he's going to be your starter in Charlotte. But listen, I mean, it's going to be a learning curve situation because they're not going to run the same drop coverage exactly like Creighton did. It's an entire new system. You've got other pieces around you. Listen, I think him and Liam McNeely together is going to be a really good combination as well. They've got some talent down there in Charlotte. Now you throw LaMelo Ball into that equation, you got some real dudes. Like I think Charlotte's got a pretty good squad.
Is it enough? What he did in summer league? It might be. I think.
Sure.
I think it's trending in that direction. He's certainly proven himself against professional caliber players. So I would imagine it's going to be enough. I think he's probably your starter in Charlotte.
I 100% agree. We were talking about this earlier when we talked about his game-winning block that in that first game, either the first or second game, where I was like, he's going to start just because they don't have anybody else. I think we were looking, it's like Miles or Mason Plumlee or something like that. And Taj Gibson, that would be the starter.
96 years old.
Exactly. He's going to be the starter, A, because he's
40.
Young, and B,
not in basketball years.
Okay, I don't even know anymore. Dan, Last question, please.
Joe McKnight. Sorry, go ahead.
Wouldn't be a Dan day without a golf mention. And the next golf event of great significance will be the Ryder Cup. Judging now based solely off of points, we will see Scheffler, Schauffele, Spahn, Henley, DeChambeau, and English on the team. Buy or sell that there are a few names left off the list. They can only have 6, by the way. It's top 6, and it's up to Keegan Bradley to choose.
Is the 2007 USC football Trojans the most underachieving team of all time?
Doing?
Indeed, they are.
Yeah,
he's just skipped out on the golf
he
question.
Just had all the 5
Total
stars in the world.
disrespect.
Joe McKnight, Everson Griffin, Ronald Johnson.
He doesn't know.
Chris Galapo. I mean, come on. Mark Tyler.
He doesn't know like the great significance that happened while they were at the Open and what Keegan Bradley did and what Bryson DeChambeau revealed.
You were coming off back-to-back national championship wins and an appearance in the Rose Bowl against Fitzgerald. Like, man, how'd that team just fall apart? I blame John David Booty. What's your thoughts on the Ryder Cup?
I don't know. Would you stick Max Homa in there somewhere?
So Max Homa in competition match play golf, I would. He's a liability on a singles day. That's my big thing with Max Homa right now is he's in a bit of a drought and he hasn't been able to put together a real, to a professional level, competent game of golf.
Dude, they had Brian Cushing and Thomas Williams in the middle of the linebacker too. The team was really good.
My biggest one is I don't know if you put Henley and English on there.
See, that's
Harris English makes sense to me, but Russell Henley right now is a little bit iffy.
See, I'm the guy kind of from the outside in. I don't know an insane amount of golf like you guys do. So looking at this list of names, I noticed Scheffler, Spahn, Henley, DeChambeau. I hear those names. I'm like, okay, this is a pretty solid lineup. So I'm not going to be able to tell you, oh, specifically, this guy was left off the list. Of the guys there, the only person that I feel like name-wise would be Phil Mickelson. So, like, that's my extent of golf knowledge. So I'm going to say exactly. Yeah, he's not going to.
The only other name that comes up for me that I think he's been on kind of a heater lately is Sam Burns. Sam Burns has been really good lately. He may not have the points necessary because he's sort of a, I don't know. It's been a surge as the golf year has gone on, but he's playing really well right now and could probably do you some good on the team.
I would be perfectly fine with Sam Burns being on there and probably replacing Harris English. If I'm going to be honest,
that 07 USC team lost to Stanford at home, man. That's also not acceptable.
John, I'm sure you and Logan probably saw it because I know that Jimmy just has on Twitter his little key terms that you can turn off. He turns off golf. Apparently,
it's muted.
But you saw that what Bryson said in his final interview that Keegan Bradley put a little special gift in a bunch of the Americans' lockers. And he basically said that it basically was like, we're not losing this year's Ryder Cup. It's like, I'm tired of losing the Ryder Cup to all these international and English and European teams.
To quietly build off whatever tangent Jimmy just went on.
Hold on. The 07 USC Trojans in that signing class had 6 players in their respective positions that were the number 1 player in their position on Rivals' top 100 list. Isn't that incredible?
It is. I can't knock you for doing this either because this is exactly what John does when we talk about NBA basketball.
What a time to be alive.
The one starts naming random
people. Yeah, but at least I
random
stay
things.
in the sport that we're talking about.
Fair enough.
It's Big Ten Media Days. USC's on TV.
One thing I do want to bring up real quick. If you have not watched KTO's video on the 2007 college football season on YouTube,
I would
highly recommend it.
It's the greatest football
awesome.
season of all time.
Exactly.
Do you guys remember Ray Malaluga? My God. What a linebacker. Hey, if you missed Buy or Sell tonight, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620zone.
That was Buy or Sell.
Brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. If it's hot outside, it's starting to get hot inside. There's something probably wrong with your AC unit. It might even be the switch on the wall. If you're having a problem with your thermostat, you need to get it examined by Controlled Comfort. Set up a maintenance appointment. They will come out. Not only will they tell you the best players on the 2007 USC Trojans roster, they will fix and diagnose your HVAC problems as well. Head over to ControlledComfort.com and set up a maintenance appointment tonight. We'll be right back. The mailbag segment. We open up the show to you. Will you ask about the 07 USC Trojans? We'll find out. 1620 Zone.
The manner of things.
Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Williams Law. You heard Bobby in here earlier talking about estate planning and the situation with the Ursays and the Colts and getting your will and testament ready. Listen, if you're listen to that advice and saying, hey, that guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You're finding yourself in a legal situation, whether it be personal, civil, or criminal, you need to get a hold of Williams Law LLC. They're going to give you a free, no obligation legal consultation. If you've got litigation coming up and you have a big day in court set, you have questions about your rights, about how the system works, or how you can find your way out of a sticky situation, head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com and set up a free, no obligation legal consultation with Williams Law tonight.
Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Hot into early this evening with the temperature in the 90s. Then showers and storms are likely late evening and overnight tonight with a low around 70. Mostly cloudy Thursday, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise a high of around 85. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Are you ready for the game changer of the day? Bellevue University has a new state-of-the-art 72,000 square foot field house featuring premium courts, generous fan seating, top-tier locker rooms, dedicated athletic training, and a strength and conditioning space, plus a whole lot more. It's not just a venue, it's a home court advantage. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that day.
7:36 on Dudes Naming Dudes here on 1620 The Zone. It's brought to you by Pyramid Contractor. If you need a free estimate for your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding, maybe you were affected by the storms over the past week, head over to pyramidroof.com, get a free estimate. Tonight, what segment are we on? Oh, yeah, it's the mailbag segment. We've been all over the place tonight. This has been a fun show. But we open up the show to you tonight, and if you want to punch in for the night shift on YouTube, I don't think I've acknowledged our night shift tonight. If you want to punch in and weigh on anything we're talking about or just ask us a question, you can do so and check in for the night shift tonight. I don't even I don't know what I did with my stream. I don't even know where it's at. There it is. Shout out to bot number 164321 for the comment they just left us. But we did post on Facebook and Twitter about your questions that you may have for us, and we'll get to those. Kurt on Facebook wanted to know if Dane Key is wide receiver 1, and Isaiah Hunter is 2, and Ja'Cory Barney is 3. Who is 3 through 6 on Nebraska's wide receiver depth chart? And obviously, you're going to take Mosey out of the
I don't think you can take him out.
To me, that sounds like a permanent move.
That he's going to play some running back sounds like a permanent move.
I mean, you're probably doing that because he probably didn't break through in the wide receivers room where you thought he would over the summer. Is that fair to say?
Or you have a need in the backfield, and he's the guy who can fill it.
I saw that more as.
All right. Well, do you think he's 3 through 6 though? Because I definitely don't think he's fitting into that equation.
I actually do.
Oh, do you want to give your 3 through 6 real quick then?
Yeah. So I think that the guy that I'm really watching to make a big jump this year is Demetrius Bell. Absolute athletic freak. I think it might have taken him a year to get used to playing at the college level, but I think he's going to make an impact this year. I think he's probably the next guy in line behind those 3 that are named there. Key, Hunter, and Barney. Cortez Mills, who's an incoming freshman.
Definitely in that equation, by the way.
I think he's in there. And then the third guy I think is Isaiah Mose, who I think he's gonna be sort of a utility knife player. I think you see him used like in some jet motion stuff. They're going to use him out of the backfield as a runner and receiver. He's going to be kind of a gadget player to me, I think. So, but yeah, I think he's definitely in that mix.
I think you just have to throw somewhere in the 3 through 6 range. I think you just have to throw Janarian Bonner into the equation.
About to say.
Just because of how much they've talked about him factoring into the offense.
I think he's going to be used as a perimeter blocker more than anything.
He was kind of that gadget guy that you were kind of talking about.
He was playing H-back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw him in somewhere in that range. This might not be in any specific order. I think you need Quinn Clark to be a guy that's factoring in this year, a 6'5" guy that can go up and get it. I think he needs to be able to be a little more crisp in running routes. He's not going to play unless he's doing that in Dana Holgerson's offense. Matt Rule kind of talked about that today when he was like, hey, here's the thing about Dana is if you're not doing what you're supposed to, you're not going to play.
Yeah.
I listen, this is just pure speculation. I think he might have been talking about Quinn Clark because that's a guy that they were really high on that came out and was a little flat in some of his routes in the open practice and in the spring game. So, I really think that's a guy that if things are going better, I think he's a guy that you put into that equation and could be a major factor, especially as a big time weapon. And I think Cortez Mills, I mean, that people are already talking about him being that type of guy. I put him probably in that 4, 5, 6 range, somewhere in there, depending on what they need him to do. The other thing about Demetrius Bell that I think is really intriguing, like how much of what he does is being assigned to Ja'Cory Barney already. And can those guys be interchangeable? And I think that's going to be a big thing for Demetrius Bell this season.
Bell, Bonner, Mills. That was my 3 that I had. I like your reasoning for Quinn Clark.
Matt Rule mentioned him by name too in the last 2 days.
Yeah, and I don't put it past Dana Holgerson and this staff maybe using Carter Nelson as a perimeter blocker at some point, but it seems like his body
might
is
flex
tight
out,
end.
but he sees a tight end now.
That's the other thing is I think he's going to see more time at tight end.
Well, that tight end room is kind of stacked right now.
That's the other problem.
Luke Lindenmeyer, Heinrich Haarberg, those 2 are for sure going to get playing time. Carter Nelson, he might just fit into the wide receiver room just because he might be the smallest guy of them all.
And Mac Markway is healthy now too.
Yeah,
from
he's going to be up.
So.
Yeah, he's going to be up there.
I'm glad we're both on the same page there. Jeff on Facebook said, we haven't heard anything about conference realignment in a while. Do you think that's it?
Why do you think that is?
Oh, sorry. Why do you think that is? Sorry, my fault. I read that wrong. It kind of feels like everybody's just waiting for the big split, right? Like it doesn't feel like there's any real reason to do this. And Jeff, we tell you about the Pac-12, my brother. they've been gobbling folks up. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying on a major national landscape. I don't think it's necessarily that it's going to be all quiet on the Western Front per se, but I think it's one of those things that the next one's probably the big one, and that's why.
There are a couple of reasons why I think, like, Jeff, you haven't heard about conference realignment. One, the major conferences are already too big.
What's your beef with Jeff?
I'm addressing him personally.
My name is Jeff.
I think the major conferences are already too big.
Nice.
There's not much room for expansion in the Big Four anymore. They're already enormous, and like stretched across the country. So like there's just the logistics of the thing. I don't know that they can expand much more.
I want 26 teams in the Big Ten.
2, everybody's waiting to see what happens with revenue sharing and how that impacts everything. Like how that impacts everybody's bottom line. The last thing anybody's going to want right now, you're not going to get conference membership on board for splitting the pie further when they have to dish out $20 million a year in rev share.
Yeah, Memphis
that's going to be a
offered
hard
somebody
sell.
$200 million, and they said no, thank you.
It's going to be a hard sell to tell teams like, we're going to add this other team and you're going to make a little bit less. Nobody's signing on to that right now. So those are the 2 big reasons, I think. Conferences are already too big, and everyone's waiting to see what happens with rev share.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because obviously there's still fallout from the House settlement that hasn't been settled, Title IX that hasn't been settled. There's still a ton that people are waiting on. Back to Facebook. Derek wants to know, who's the best wide receiver at Nebraska all time? Now, listen, obviously the easy answer here would be Irving Fryer is the number 1 overall
It's also
pick.
the correct answer.
But for me, I didn't get to see Irving Fryer play. So
let's go generational.
I think that's important, because I can't say that Irving Fryer is the best wide receiver at Nebraska because I only got to see him on YouTube, right? For me in my generation, I think it's Maurice Purify.
Yep. That's where I put my vote.
Yeah, that 2006 season. I mean, the comeback against Texas A&M, he was the number 1 wide receiver for Zach Taylor. Like, it was, he was always open. He was the biggest target on the field. He could climb the ladder. He could run small routes. He could run a drag. He could run an out. He could run a post, and he delivered at a high rate in Bill Callahan's offense.
Yeah, see, I would pick if we're going by generations, for that generation, I'm going Quincy Enunwa.
Okay.
I consider Quincy Enunwa more my generation. In
Well,
my
that was
head,
only 4 years apart, though, right? Enunwa was 2010?
2012?
2012?
I think he was drafted in 2013. Right. So yeah, kind of that splitting part. Like, go ahead and continue.
No,
that was it.
Yeah, that's the end of that thought.
See, I just, because in my head, for my generation, obviously the big 2 guys that I think of are Kenny Bell and Jordy Westerkamp. Those are the big 2. But then also Quincy Enunwa was in there for my generation. I watched him play against South Dakota State in 2013 or whatever it was. I have the ticket still. He's the guy on the ticket. But I mean,
dude, he was a dude.
He's got a golden ticket in Madden 20, which is one of my favorite cards ever. Not only because he's a Nebraska player.
Honorable mention.
Sure.
Statistically, Stanley Morgan Jr.
Oh.
Johnny Rogers.
Stanley.
For what
Wrong
he means
Stanley.
to the program.
Wing
just
back.
in general.
No, Stanley.
And then
strong guy.
For the soil that we're standing on right now, or technically above, Niles Paul.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. He was more of a tight end, though, wasn't he?
He played tight
No,
end
he
in
played
the
tight
league.
end in
He
the
played wide
NFL.
receiver at Nebraska.
That's what I was thinking.
Leave your he dropped that pass against Texas comments at home. We don't need him here.
Yeah, you guys might not remember him. Corey Dixon.
Yeah. Like I was trying.
That's not a name that I know.
I was trying to think of like who would be the best wide receiver from the 90s, and just because
Abdul Muhammad.
Yeah, because Nebraska didn't throw a lot. Like there's a bunch of dudes you could throw, but that's who I was going to say. Obviously, Omaha Central's current recruiting coordinator, Abdul Muhammad.
DeMornay Pearsonell for late 2010s.
As a punt returner, yes.
Overall player, I'll hear it, sure, but as a wide receiver,
Wide receiver,
probably
no.
not.
Corey Dixon was like a crazy good punt returner too. But they just didn't throw the ball that
might
much.
be the most infuriating thing for Nebraska fans with how bad we've been at special teams. Because when you had Corey Dixon and you had DeJuan Gross and you had Courtney Grigsby, and I'm just thinking of all these great returners in the history of Nebraska football, to where one season you literally only fair caught because you couldn't return a punt.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. Hey, if you missed the mailbag segment tonight, check it out at our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Speaking of Nebraska football season is just right around the corner. If you want to get a Johnny O polo with an embroidered N on it, or maybe you want to get a Mizzen and Main shirt that has the Husker N built onto the shirt as well, all those are available at 78th and Dodge. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years, and get your closet ready for football season. We come back. I fixed the entire Big Ten football schedule right here on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody. John Schreiner here for Railcar. So happy that Railcar is now sponsoring the After Hours Lounge because this has been my brunch spot for years. It's the top brunch spot in Omaha in my book. Every Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 to 2, go in there, get the Nutella French toast. Or if you want to be like me, get the chilaquiles, the breakfast nachos. Absolutely delicious, salty, spicy, breakfast heaven. I'm telling you what, if you never had chilaquiles, you need to get to Railcar this weekend and get yourself some because you are going to fall in love. They've also got the lemon ricotta pancakes, the pile up, the sticky pecan donut holes. Everything on the menu is great. You're not going to be disappointed. If you need brunch this weekend, get yourself a reservation at Railcar. Also, Primetime Prime Rib every Friday and Saturday night. Queen Cut, that's where it's at. Get to Railcar, 144th and Blondo.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main, you'll be the sharpest dressed guy in your foursome. Stop in and let John, Dan, Jake, Deanne, and Monier the Tailor get you ready for the golf outing circuit or your big wedding this summer.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
Is the Force strong with you? Find out this July with Project Solo. Find your favorite Star Wars cans of your favorite Coke products through July 31st. Stop by your local Hy-Vee and pick up 12 packs of Coke for just $3.99 when you purchase 4 between July 2nd through the 6th. Also pick up half-liter 6-packs with your favorite Star Wars characters for $3.99. 16-ounce body armor or 28-ounce Powerade singles, just $1 all month long. Hy-Vee and Chesterman Coca-Cola, creating Jedi all over Nebraska.
Heat flames are crashing all over the Midwest. Beat the heat with Controlled Comfort. If your AC is aging and you have concerns, Controlled Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your HVAC issues. Let Controlled Comfort's comfort specialists come out, diagnose your issue, resolve it, or replace that old AC unit with one that'll keep you cool in the months ahead. Head over to ControlledComfort.com today.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
Are you watching the water slowly seep down the drain again? Go with a local solution. Go with Trusted. AX Plumbing is here to help. With over 20 years of serving the metro area, AX Plumbing can do it all, from residential to commercial. They can even help with the new build installation service. Head over to axpservice.com today. There's financing available to qualified buyers and military discount too. Check out axpservice.com today. AX Plumbing. They'll leave your place cleaner than they found it.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Okay, I hate to disappoint the night shift and the patrons of the After Hours Lounge. I don't know if I can do this in 4 minutes. That's all we got on the show. Do we save this for tomorrow? Like, I know this would be like the most anticlimactic build of all time.
I would say save it for tomorrow.
I think
I fixed it.
I think
Wait for next episode.
We can do your schedule breakdown and my power rankings based on
right, because we got a lot to unpack.
There's a lot.
We were too busy talking about
2007
USC
and Barry Sanders.
Now, if the two of you get to do that, that means I get a whole segment about golf tomorrow, right?
Do you feel like I adequately answered your Ryder Cup question tonight?
In your own special way, yes.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Did you learn something?
I did.
That's all I try to do here is I just try to educate as many people as I possibly can.
People forget Clay Matthews.
That was 4 years later. Right?
It was?
Yeah, pretty sure. I think it was.
Wow.
The more you know. We just want to give our trash takes here. Then?
Do it.
Yeah. Go ahead and start us off, John.
Deion Sanders came out yesterday and said that he is still dealing with something related to his health. And I know that we last year on this show surmised that Deion Sanders might be a one-and-done coach at Colorado. And that might actually be coming true. Because if his health problems...
2 years, but...
Well, I mean, after his, you know, his son's graduated.
Yeah.
Because this health problem, whatever it is, we still don't know exactly what the health problem is that he is still dealing with.
Can I ask you, did it get, like, possibly hinted that it was still something with his foot, or is that just rumored in you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Nobody knows for sure.
I couldn't remember.
But if he is still dealing with these health problems, like we have seen multiple times.
The rumors he still hasn't been anywhere near the actual program.
Right. So. That how many times have, the names come to mind. Jerry Kill, for instance, how many times he's had to step away from coaching for health issues. Like, this is not unprecedented.
Allegedly, it's why Urban Meyer did.
Right.
Allegedly.
He may not coach another game for Colorado. And that's a real possibility right now. And I know that, like, the Colorado fans out there are probably scoffing at what I'm saying into the microphone right now. But, like, you have to take a real look at this and an assessment and how much time he has been away from the team in the offseason and start to wonder if he's ever coming back.
What does your gut instinct tell you?
My gut instinct is that he's going to try, and it may not last the entire season.
I'll go real quick. PJ Fleck is the biggest Nebraska troll of all time. We were just talking about this off air.
Yeah.
He just mentioned that. What was the exact quote? Most dangerous team?
He said one of the most dangerous teams in the Big Ten is Nebraska.
He says this in hopes that Nebraska sucks, so he can just kind of say, "Well, I told you how good they were going to be, and we were able to beat them." And I don't dislike any other coach more in the Big Ten than I do dislike PJ Fleck. So my trash take tonight: PJ Fleck, you suck.
Ooh,
Dan Campion.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Lee Westwood is now complaining because after tying for 34th at the Open Championship this past weekend, he is now number 930 in the world. You want to know why that is? It's because he plays on the LIV Golf Tour. The two highest rated LIV Golf Tour OWGR scores right now is number 16 Bryson and number 21 Tyrrell Hatton. Westwood, just remember, when you got that big old fat paycheck that hit your account like a brick hitting a car's window, that you made the dumbest decision of your life if you wanted to be an official world ranked golfer. Thank you.
The 2007 USC Trojans had 7 quarterbacks on that roster. That's incredible. Logan, what else? What do you got?
Mine is more of a somber take, but I feel like it needs to be said. Today is the 9-year anniversary of Sam Foltz tragically passing away.
Yes, it is. I can't believe we didn't mention that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad you didn't, and I could save this for the end. To all of our listeners, drive safe tonight, no matter what. Just drive safe. Take it slow if conditions aren't good. We want you here.
There you go. That's it. That's going to wrap up the After Hours Lounge tonight. If you missed any of it, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. Is brought to you by Allo Fiber. Allo has been empowering businesses and homes since 2003 in the Nebraska area, and you can switch, stack, and save tonight. Combine Allo Fiber with DirecTV and their new mobile services and save yourself some money. A 2-year locked-in price, no surprise fees for exactly 24 months. Check out allofiber.com/stack tonight. For Logan Mosley, Dan Campion, and John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Go celebrate Vanilla Ice Cream Day and rest in peace, Sam Foltz.